through turn 4. Does the 24 have enough? It's going to be a drag race to the line. We're going down the front stretch. The 96 wins the race at Coca.
Hello guys, and welcome here to the Jello Cup Series. This is race number 12 here today under the lights on a Saturday night from the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Today we present to you the Coca-Cola 600, the longest race on the schedule. However, I think Gateway's right up there with that one. But anyway, starting on the pole today will be Usman Hamid in the number 52. And to his outside will be that number 9 of Rusty Potts, one of the go-or-go-homers in this race, who just made it in. And we'll see what he is able to do as the race goes on. Something to keep in mind is that we do have double points today. So there are a lot of guys who are outside of this top 33 that have made this race that really want to get, make up some ground that they lost from Daytona up till this point. There are guys in the middle of the standings who want to boost their standing at this point, move up the grid a little bit, maybe get a little bit of a cushion over the top 33. There are guys who want to get back in the top 30. There are guys who want to increase, there are guys at the top of the standings who want to move further ahead or even get the points lead. For Tim Horton, who's starting in 6th today, he's got a 20-something point lead. He wants to expand that lead. But keep in mind one thing as we enter this race. This is not our last double points race, and our next one is not too far down the road, because our next one is race number 18 at Indianapolis. That's 6 races from now. But you want to have a good result today, so that way these next 5 races after this, you don't have to dwell on how bad, there's not as much recovery entering those next 5 races up till race 18 at Indianapolis. So we will see what these drivers are able to do. Obviously, we know the stakes here. We know we're probably going to see a lot of guys being a little bit more aggressive than they would normally be. So that's another thing to keep an eye out for as we go through the course of this race. Let us now take a look at your knockout qualifying results. We mentioned Rusty Potts got in. Joining him will be Dylan Ibrahimian, Eric Faden, Joshua Sikulik, Kevin McHugh, Steve Morgan, and Tyler Faden. They have all made the race today. Unfortunately, Ahmad Mihailovic, Casey Naneko, Ricky Johnson, and Anthony Logan will not be a part of today's festivities, and that will hurt them in the standings, I'm sure. Anyway, this is the Jello Cup Series. This is the Coca-Cola 600. We'll be right back in just a moment with your starting lineup here on GCN. Welcome back. The starting lineup is on the left-hand side of your screen. See, we got a little issue in the back there. Hope that gets resolved before the start. Keep in mind, again, a double points race here at Charlotte. And it is going to be key to be up front. You don't want to make up all those positions in pit stops. And obviously you want to be key on those pit stops, because if you're up front, you don't want to lose that position. And you see we've got the restart waved off. Looks like the 42 of Chris Smith had a bit of an issue. So we will wave off the restart this time. Looks like Chris Smith got a little damage off of something. Maybe his car blew up. Hopefully that car will be able to get going here. And if not, that is going to be a major tough break for Chris Smith in that 42, because this will most certainly drop him outside of the top 33 once again. But here we go. Take two is about to happen right now. We'll see if take two works out a little bit better than take one. Pace car is off. Usman Hamid, Rusty Potts, they will lead us to the green. We are underway at Charlotte. Ooh, we had a little bit of a tire spin, I believe, toward the back. And Chris Smith is out and away. He has no issue. So that's some good news. You see Rusty Potts hangs on to second for the time being. Matt Hussey. Oh, they're going to pit on lap number 1. Interesting. Not entirely sure what just happened. Looks like we're having some sort of issue. You see Ben Crouch leads that lap. He will get the 2 bonus points. And we're trying to figure out why the race just transpired like that. And I'd sure love to get a good answer for you guys, but to be honest, I don't have any. This is the BBMC track, so maybe an issue with that I. But Ben Crouch is the leader. Jeff Scott going for third. Keep in mind, with the misfortune of Tim Horton kind of short pitting, this could allow Jeff Scott the opportunity to take over the points lead once again after a horrendous race over at Talladega. Oh, the 8 is stopped on the apron. Boy, things just go from bad to worse for that number 8 of Eric Faden. not the start to the season he has wanted. He got a win at Vegas, but ever since he has just been on a nosedive. You've really got to feel for him. He just can't catch a break in that number 8. We got a battle for second that is on. It's between the 25 and the 51. And now the 51 goes low. We have a spinner. It's the 13. And we got our first caution of the day. Oh, the 11 of Kevin McHugh. He's got damage, and he damaged the 19. So our race leader involved in a wreck as well. And he drops back to 7. Dan Hummel's the new race leader. Chaos in the Coca-Cola 600. Let's go see what happened. So quite a bit happened here. It looks like the 53 and the 10 get together, and Mina Monroe just puts the 53 in the wall. Round she goes. Keep watching, it gets interesting from here. The 21 narrowly avoids it, so does the 42 of Chris Smith. But the 13 just plows right into there. Here comes your race leader. He's trying to avoid it. Everyone avoids the 13, but here's where Ben Crouch gets involved. He has to hit the brakes, and he goes right into the back of the 53. 51, Jeff Scott's involved too. And ultimately, this just pinches everybody down low. I don't know what they were thinking there. And then the 11 runs over the back of the 19. Kevin McHugh. Man, this is just chaotic. There's really no other way to describe that. Let's take you back to the green. So just want to update you on the 8. Maybe it was a battery issue of some sort, but he is still in the race. So Eric Faden continues. Still not great for that team. They definitely needed a better finish here today. So tough break for Eric Faden. There are 3 cars out of the race right now. The 13 Steve Morgan, the 53 of Gene Sanford, and the 11 of Kevin McHugh. And this does not help the 11 or the 13's case for getting back into the top 33. They are going to have a lot of work to do as we go through the rest of the season. Dan Hummel, Charles Sanford, Mitch Collins, Dylan Young, and Tyler Faden. That is your top 5. As the green flag waves were back underway, the 25 did not get going. They did pit under the caution, by the way. As you see Charles Sanford going for the lead. Here goes Dylan Young for 3rd. We're having some side-by-side battles right now. We'll see, they should be able to clear, and the 2 is going to go for 2nd now. So Charles Sanford and Dylan Young going to be 1-2. As Charles Sanford takes the race lead. Dan Hummel's stuck to that high side. He just doesn't have any speed right now. He probably has a long run car. Keep in mind, there are only 13 cars on the lead lap, and that little first lap glitch, or whatever that was, certainly benefited the 42 of Chris Smith, because he is back in this race in the top 10. Again, probably the wildest Coke 600 I've seen in a while. As Mitchell Collins goes to 2nd, now he has his sights set on the race lead. He is going to try to pass Charles Sanford. Down the backstretch, they're side by side, door to door. And Mitchell Collins will get it. Ooh, Dylan Young moved up the track a little bit. Got into the corner panel, the 96. Maybe a little bit of a tap to let him know, hey, I'm right here. Ooh, 25 dives it in. The 96 has to move up. Some really aggressive racing here on the Charlotte Oval. Keep in mind, we're only a fourth of the way through the race as Mitchell Collins leads. Here goes Dan Hummel for second. And now it looks like Dan Hummel's starting to come to life. No, Charles Sanford's battling back on the high side. He's not going to let that 25 have it easy. But now they got Tyler Faden behind him. And keep in mind, Tyler Faden was a go-or-go-homer to start the season. And he still is. So this would be a mega upset if he could win this race and take the playoff points away. See, that outside lane starting to get some grip. And Tyler Faden will take third. But in the meantime, it is Mitchell Collins leading the race. Keep in mind, he's already won a race this season. I believe over at Dover, if I'm not mistaken. That's when his drivers went on a 4-race winning streak. How's about 5 out of the last 6? He could do that here today if he wins. Dan Hummel trying to look for second once again. And he's going to dive it in, try to get Charles Sanford here in turns 3 and 4, go 2 for 1. And again, won't be able to do it. Mitchell Collins, though, is expanding that race lead. But now Dan Hummel will get second. And look who they just dragged into this battle. That is the 4 of Zach Fitzwater. Keep an eye on the 4. He has not won a race in his career. So for Zach Fitzwater, if he could do it here today, on one of the biggest stages of the season, that would be, that would just be miraculous, I guess, is the best way to put it. As we now got a battle for the lead. Dan Hummel, Mitchell Collins, down the backstretch into turns 3 and 4. He's just not going to make it stick this time. Mitchell Collins will hang on. Again, Mitchell Collins could go for win number 2 of the season, but back behind him as well is his brother, Trevor Collins. He's looking for win number 3 of the season, and he's got third right now. Keep in mind, after this we go to Michigan, then we go to Richmond as you see the leaders pitting. Oh, we got a wreck ahead. It's the 5 of Brad Stover around. Caution is out. And a huge wreck on the front stretch with the number 5. He got plowed by Samet Ozkan there. Oh, he gets hit by Jeff Scott. Jeff Scott, big time damage to that 51. He's done. I believe Dan Hummel's going to be marked as the race leader. I'm still trying to find this one out. Let's go see what happened while we get that sorted out. Looks like Brad Stover just misjudges the exit of the corner there. He doesn't see that 32 has a run on the high side. And Hillary Sanchez just pinches him there. She doesn't sustain any big damage though. Brad Stover just backs it up into the wall. Comes back down the track. Nowhere for these guys to go. Samet Ozkan gets hit. Ben Crouch, two of the Joe Gibbs cars taken out big time in this wreck. Matt Hussey as well. It looks like Tim Horton got a big piece of that as well. Dylan Ibrahimian. But where does Jeff Scott get involved in this? Or just watch Jeff Scott. He thinks he's good. He's going low. I don't think he can see anything with that smoke, and he's letting up right now, trying not to do any damage. Just can't see through the smoke. He avoids the 5 or the 19, and he just couldn't see the 5, I don't think. And that is a tough break for Jeff Scott, who was hoping to make up some ground in the standings. Instead, he'll be going the opposite way. We'll take you back to the green right now. 1 to go this time, and I gotta remind you again, this has to be the most bizarre Coca-Cola 600 I've ever seen, and we haven't even hit halfway yet. Only 7 cars are on the lead lap. This has got to be a first for the Coca-Cola 600. For the Jello Cup. We've got 9 cars out of the race, starting with Dylan Ibrahimian. Then we got the 19 Ben Crouch. So actually 3 of the 4, actually all 4 Joe Gibbs Racing Toyotas are out of the race. Ben Crouch is one of them, of course. Jeff Scott's out. Samet Ozkan, Brad Stover, Stacy Stickler, Max Anderson, Kevin McHugh, Gene Sanford, and Steve Morgan. Meanwhile, for the restarts, Dan Hummel, he's going to lead us back to the green, and we're back underway. He delays a little bit. The leaders behind him got a little bunched up, and Charles Sanford will go for the lead. I just don't think he's been very comfortable leading these guys back to the green, because he has struggled so far on restarts. And Charles Sanford will lead. Zach Fitzwater tried to follow him inside for second, and he just couldn't do it. And now he'll go for second. Keep in mind, you got to use that inside lane early. Once these guys get up to speed, it's kind of hard to pass. Zach Fitzwater, he's doing everything he can to clear that 25 for second, and he will do so. It's been documented the sheer disappointment for Zach Fitzwater, finishing second every single week, or just not able to pull up the win. And he's doing everything he can to hold off these guys. He wants a win. He's hungry for one. And I think he'd be willing to do anything at this point to win one, especially a prestigious event like this one. See there, he closes a little bit on Charles Sanford. Not enough as we hit the halfway mark. And Frodemar Otz is looking for second. He won't get it this time. And Dan Hummel, he might fight back for third here. I don't think so, though. Unfortunately, they're still going to be side by side for third. And now Frodemar Otz clears them. Here comes Zach Fitzwater. And these two that are 1-2, they sure do know a thing or two about finishing second, being the bridesmaid. As now, Zach Fitzwater's under pressure for second. Move Frodemar Otz up the grid. It always sucks finishing second, and now Zach Fitzwater's in trouble because here comes Trevor Collins in that number 6. But now the 4 will try the crossover. I mentioned how hungry that 4 is for a win. But Charles Sanford, he wants to prove that he can win at tracks other than Daytona. He did win the Coke Zero 400 last season. He didn't make the playoffs on that win. And it was literally the closest finish in Jello Cup history. He wants to prove that was not a fluke and that he can win more races. He left Hendrick to do so, coming over to this Gaunt Brothers team. Here goes Trevor Collins, though. He is the hottest driver in the garage right now. He wants second and possibly more. And this is exactly what Charles Sanford wants to see in his rear view mirror right now. These guys going side by side for the second position. But one thing he doesn't want to see in his rear view mirror, the Oscar Mayer Wiener car, I guess you want to call it that. The 6, he does not want to see that guy in his rear view mirror, because keep in mind, that 6 has won 2 of the last 3 races on the circuit. He's the hottest driver in the garage at this point. And obviously a third win for him would be crippling for all of these guys behind. He's got 12 playoff points, I believe. This would boost him to 22 and have a commanding lead in the playoff points. Charles Sanford, because keep in mind, the more Charles Sanford leads, if he can lead the most laps here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, he will get, obviously, the 4 bonus points for leading the most. But he'll get 2 playoff points as well, and that would boost him to 12. And that would tie him. That would tie the 6 with, or it would put him right up there, or it would tie the 96 with Stacy Stickler pretty much. You see the leaders pitting. Can we keep it clean this time? I believe we will. Trevor Collins is now the race leader. And I believe he's the only lead lap car to stay out. And now he will pit. The lapped cars, a few of them will stay out an extra lap. You see Usman Hamid make an evasive move to pit. He just didn't have enough fuel to get to the end. And Joshua Scully is leading a group of these guys that have not pitted yet. Joshua Scully may be a lap down, but he was running pretty well. Give him a lot of credit in that 47. He's having a good race. This is exactly what he needs. He has literally been second to last in the standings all season long. Even if he doesn't come out on the lead lap, you know, this is a race that he needs. Here comes the 96. Can he beat Trevor Collins off the pit lane? It looks like he will. And by a lot, too. But the 1 of Frodo Maratz is right there as well. Keep in mind, we still got 20 laps of racing to go. But Charles Sanford is leading right now. I don't want to go through the field. This is actually take 2 of the race. So forgive me for not going through the field for you guys. I guess we will on the ticker instead, but we will not go backward with the video because I just don't want to crash the race at this point. We had a little issue with this track earlier. But anyway, it is Charles Sanford leading. Frodo Maratz is in second. Trevor Collins is in third. Zach Fitzwater, and you see there Matt Hussey is holding up that 96. He needs to get out of the way. Plain and simple. He did this last race too. He's going to have a lot of angry drivers after him if he keeps doing that. But anyway, let's pick it up again. We mentioned Trevor Collins in third, Zach Fitzwater's fourth, Nathan Faden's in fifth, Chris Smith is sixth, Dan Hummel's in seventh, Dylan Young eighth, Joshua Saculli ninth, and Tyler Faden rounds out your top 10 right there. 11th is Patrick Smith, 12th is Scott Upton, 13th is Rihanna G, 14th is Rusty Potts, 15th is Giorgio Stumu, 16th is Austin Shaw, 17th the 88 of Dick Clark, 18th is Carter Joey, 19th is Diego Yepes, 20th is Muhammad Zain Abdullah. That is through the field, kind of a cheap version of through the field. You see there the 4 is now getting held up by the lapped car. And Matt Hussey just has to get out of the way. He is really starting to make a lot of these guys angry back here. He was doing it last race at Talladega as well, if I'm not mistaken. That 24 is going to have a giant target on his back if he keeps blocking these guys. And you see Frodo Marat's kind of taking a higher line through the corners. Maybe he knows something Charles Sanford doesn't. See, now he's trying to use the draft. But he was taking the high line the past few corners is what I noticed while we were going through the field. I mean, he's got to know something. He's running a slightly higher line on entry than the 96. Maybe trying to get some more speed on entry and then carry more speed on exit. But it looks like he quits that. It's really not doing him any good at this point. Fastest laps of the race. I don't think this is to anyone's surprise. The 96 has the fastest lap of the race so far. Keep in mind, a win in a double points race could pretty much solidify you into the playoffs if you stay in the top 30. As we got a battle for second. Keep an eye on that 6. This is not over yet. Trevor Collins gets second. And keep in mind, he's going for 3 wins in the last 4 races. So we got 11 laps to go. We should have one more cycle of stops here in the Coke 600. We will see what happens as Trevor Collins is closing. He's got a faster car. And possibly the tires have fallen off the 96. Keep in mind that 6 pitted a lap later. With 10 to go. Does he have the winning strategy? Keep in mind, the closer he is to that 96, the less room for error Charles Sanford has on that pit lane. Battle for the lead is on, with 9 laps to go. Here goes Trevor Collins. He knows he's got the faster car right now. And he will take the race lead away from Charles Sanford. Trevor Collins has been the driver to beat the last few races. You see the 96 pitting. And the 6 will stay out. Again, we mention it. Trevor Collins, with a win today, he would win 3 of the last 4 races. He won't be the point leader. He's too far back to be a point leader at this point. But the double points would certainly boost him. And now he pits. Now the question will be, will he come out in front of the 96? Because Charles Sanford just came off the pit lane. How quick can that 96 get up to speed? Because keep in mind, on colder tires, he's been the faster car. So if Charles Sanford has anything for that number 6, it's going to have to be right now on the warm-up. Dan Hummel led that lap. Here we go. Yes, Charles Sanford will regain the race lead. All that work by Trevor Collins out the window just about. He is going to have to really hope that Charles Sanford wears out his stuff right now. Yep, all that work that Trevor Collins just did to get the race lead at the end of that segment, he falls right back to where he was before that gigantic run. He's back in third. And Zach Fitzwater way back in fourth. But still, I know how hungry Zach Fitzwater is for a win. It's understandable. With 5 laps to go, it probably won't be today for him. But you gotta give a lot of credit to that 4 team. They are looking a lot better. They're getting better every single week. And we got ourselves a battle for the lead once again. Frodemar Otts is now looking for it. But keep in mind, he stalled out last time, and it looks like he's doing the same this time. He does not want to let that 6 by him. Because after all, when you're the hottest car in the garage, when you have the hottest car in the garage behind you, you don't want to let him by. We got 4 to go. And Trevor Collins has speed right now. But he also knows the double points at stake in this race. And he needs to be putting, at this point, if it's double points, it's 3 laps to go. And I'm that close to the race leader. I know I'm faster than him. I'm putting the bumper to that 1 and moving him out of my way. And he'll look to the inside. Does he have the run? No, he doesn't. Oh man, if you are if you're Zach Fitzwater, you've got to be sitting back there like, please do something stupid up there. Charles Sanford, side by side for the lead, 2 laps to go. And Frodemar Otts will get it. But they race down the backstretch. This is far from over. Frodemar Otts leads. We now receive the white flag. 1 lap of racing to go in the Coca-Cola 600. Can Charles Sanford get a run through turns 1 and 2? It looks like he does. I don't know if it'll be enough to challenge for the lead. through turns 3 and 4. If I'm not mistaken, this is Frode Marat's first career win, and it comes on one of the biggest stages in the Cup Series, here today at the Coca-Cola 600. Congratulations to Frode Marat. He was a winner last season in the Carvana Wildcard Series. Won at Sonoma, went to the Championship 4. Winning in a double points race is huge, as this should put him in the playoffs. And Charles Sanford once again is gonna have to settle for second. That's gotta be heartbreak. You led all those laps just to come home second. Oh man, you gotta feel for Charles Sanford in that situation. And then obviously you got to feel for the 4 of Zach Fitzwater. He comes home with another top 5, but it is not a win. But once again, you got to tip the cap to them. They're getting better and better this season. Stuart Haas has definitely put together a good program. And Zach Fitzwater's time will come, so will Charles Sanford's. Trevor Collins, though, he continues his hot streak, coming home in 3rd, so that's always impressive for him. Anyway, we will see what happens going forward. We got 6 more races till our next double points race at Indianapolis, as mentioned. However, we're going to take off for now on this Saturday night. We'll be back Monday with the Jello Cup Series at Michigan. So we hope you'll tune in. Until then, want to thank you for watching. Here come your results and standings. Goodbye, everyone.